What it do, Modified 95 family? We are back in the library. This is the Honda library because we have a library of stored parts. And I'm working really hard. My biggest personal critique is my brain is like a turbo. There's a lot of lag. It's going super fast, but it takes a second for it to kick in. And so I watch my videos and I think I'm doing the worst Obama impression because I go, and in between sentences where I could just pause, take a breath, slow down a little bit. But today, we are going to solve this problem that I created, and I've probably created more problems trying to solve the problem incorrectly. But we're going to solve this problem, and we're going to answer the debate whether you need a 2 or 3 bolt post mount to run your B series in the 96 to 2000 EK. So give me 5 on my black hand side and let's go. Step 1 is realizing my own mortality. And as I've gotten older, things that have become important to me would be organization. I got this really cool shelf from work for free, and I'll be able to clean up the garage even further. And some of the things that we will work on today is some cool red label goodies. These, you can see the part numbers. These two are the same. Yeah, these two are the same. Are the post mount bolts for the B16. So instead of me having to fix this one that has all these threads stuck in there, which I probably still will because waste not, want not. And I only had one good one. Now I have brand new ones that are super shiny. And then a few other things that I thought would be worthwhile. Sorry, I'm trying to move things in my hand. This is the little gasket, if you can see that, that goes in the top of the head, that a lot of people's are all messed up and it doesn't allow their VTEC to crack appropriately because this helps get the oil pressure to the solenoid, I believe, is where it's sending that pressure to. And then these are a couple of, here, I'll show you the part numbers real quick. These should be the pieces that allow the head gasket to be aligned as well as the head. And so I will put that post mount on real quick. And this is the big one. This is the problem that I created. Somehow these bolts worked their way out, and I made a little video of fixing this by just putting in new threads, or saying that we put in new threads. And I had a bolt from a other Honda kit that I used that fit right in here and threaded in perfectly. So I went to a local hardware store, picked up these standard thread bolts. I believe they were pitch 20 is what they were. And I matched the lengths with these other bolts, and they made them just a little bit shorter. And then I came and I did this video and I kind of got them started, but they weren't going in by hand. So I said, let me check this out. And with the, I want to say tap is what this thing is called, it just didn't line up with the threads. It was almost exactly opposed. So I went back to Lowe's again this time, and I found that these were metric bolts, and they are M12 with a pitch of 1.5, and I got 260s and 140s. And look at this. Just, we'll take the time to do this, not in time lapse. Look how easy this screws in. And not only does it screw in, but that's without any tools. That was just by hand. It goes all the way in. And then when I take the post mount that I'm going to use, it doesn't fit between here and there, which means that not only will it fit this in there, but it'll get tight without bottoming out. So I will install that other post mount. I will put together that rack off camera. I'm not even gonna waste time in time lapse. And then once I free Zeronius from the dungeon of his own room, I'm sure he's already out, we will take our new drill bit that I showed in the other video that's supposed to work on metal, and we will punch a bigger hole in this to be able to facilitate these bolts going through, and we should solve the problem that I created for myself. This is the 3 post hole mount. This one I'm going to put on the B16. And I've heard discussions go either way, and I'd like to solve that because in one of my EKs, I have this one, and in my other car, I run this one. And really, the only difference is what mount you were going to buy on this driver's side. That's the only difference. You can pick either one. Just make sure you have the right corresponding mount. Problem solved. This is going fine. There's no skill involved. Zeronius is working with the drill. I wish we had a drill press because this seems to be working. It's just painful on the hands, but the hole is starting. This is our clamp. You see how well that's working. And I was able to put this mount on, put thread locker, got both the top bolts in. The bottom bolt I noticed was just spinning. So I wanted to see if there's any threads. So there are a few threads. They just happen to be deeper than that bolt was. So I'll have to rectify that problem with a bolt that fits without messing up those threads. And you can see this B16 head, it's bored to oversize. It is 81.75 millimeters, which is enough to hold 4 vegan instant ramens. So take note of that. I'm sure it's important. Problem solved, at least halfway. We will have to see from here. But he had to bring out the extendo clip to make this drill more usable. And it looks like with these new holes punched, these fit. So a little red thread locker, these M12 1.5 thread bolts, and we should come back to this being on. Yes, I am breathing a little hard because being this large, everything is laborious. So Zeronius is correcting some more problems that we created when we did some welding onto the bolt that snapped to get it out. Some of that, I want to say slag, for lack of better words. That could be the right term. I don't remember. Yes. A on my vocab test. Fell onto this that sits behind the crank pulley, as well as onto this very smooth tensioner. So he was polishing that off to make sure it doesn't shred my belt I'm waiting for from Summit Racing. I think it's a Gates belt, the one with the hard shell on the outside that's supposed to be for racing or just higher rated than a factory one. You saw the perspective of our new shelf, which I think is going to be tucked away behind this facade of a wall. And post mount went on with no issues. It's screwed in tight, thread locker, all of that's good. And yeah, we'll just have to find a bolt for this. So we'll see what else we can do today as we're making such good progress and we're fixing more problems than we're causing or finding. So we got to keep that momentum going. So after we finished those mounts, it was a good time to throw on the rear main seal. So we found the bolts for that and got that in place and tightened down. And it was also a good time to get the oil pump on. So all the things were finished. And so I wanted to finish the video there and then move on to other things if we have more time. And then if you can see, that shelf is in. And so we got some nice safe storage, and there's nothing on the bottom 2 shelves. So I'm very excited that that went well. Thanks for sticking with us. We got a lot more stuff to do, and we're sticking with it. I'm really trying to get rid of those ums. Later, fam.